It's a rough start for the Alex Golesh era. It will get better. It will absolutely get better. Deuce Knight is in the transfer portal, a guy that has been billed, or was, I should say, since he's going to transfer starting on Friday, as the future of Auburn football, a quarterback who showed immense potential, was a super highly rated recruit coming out of high school. He's going into the portal. Cam Coleman is going into the portal. Do you realize among the top players on the 24/7 transfer portal rankings, Auburn's got the top two at two different positions? Because Xavier Chaplin, their offensive tackle, 6'7", 348 pounds, started all 12 games this year, is the number 2 offensive tackle available, trailing only Carius Kern from LSU. So Cam Coleman has been talked about on this show, many others, discussed many times about where he could potentially end up. And I think that his loss is significantly bigger than Deuce Knight, because quarterback relationships and dynamics, it's different. But Coleman's a guy that one day we might look back and go, yeah, that was a sign that Alex Golesh wasn't the right fit at Auburn for whatever reason. I'm not saying that's the case now. Just stash that thought away in the back of your mind, and then let's revisit it in 3 years' time if Auburn, again, fires a coach before he gets to his 4th season. So if you look at what Cam Coleman is capable of being versus what he's been, dude could be one of the biggest breakout players in all of college football. His stats aren't going to blow you away. He's never had a 1,000-yard season. Now, I've seen plenty of articles written about where he could wind up going and teams that would potentially be a fit. The only positive outcome, aside from actually getting him to come back to Auburn, which is possible, but I don't think very likely, the only positive outcome Auburn can get now is that he doesn't go to Alabama. But I got to tell you, it would certainly fit. The offense that Alabama runs under Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb is any wide receiver's dream. Because not only, as we just talked about, are they not capable of running the football very well, they don't even really want to. They just say, we'll drop back with an NFL quarterback and we'll have him throw 30 to 40 times a game and we'll throw plenty of 50-50 balls down the field and trust our wide receivers to go make a play. It would be a great pickup for Alabama. You'd stick it to your rival and it'd be a great fit in the offense. I think everything about that would make perfect sense. That's one school that's been suggested. Another one is Texas A&M. So Texas A&M is where Cam Coleman was committed when Jimbo Fisher was the head coach before he flipped to Auburn. He spent 5 months as a Texas A&M commit. Maybe College Station is a place that interests him. It's a lot of SEC schools that are potentially in the fold here. Here's another one, and I'm just going to sit here and tell you that it'd be crazy. It is crazy to think about, but also, I don't know. Is it really that wild? I saw a piece that I think was more speculating than implying actual contact has been made. And they're, of course, losing their premier recruiter at this position. What if Cam Coleman went to Ohio State? Yeah, that scares you, doesn't it? Because Julian's saying, pretty sure he's back next year. Jeremiah Smith still has to play another year of college football. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? Ohio State has had some unbelievable tandems over the year at wide receiver. If Ryan Day really wants to go for it, and maybe the outcome of the game that's being played the day that this show airs, Wednesday, of course, Ohio State and Miami in their college football playoff quarterfinal. Maybe the outcome would determine the veracity with which Ryan Day would go out and make this move. Because if they're upset by Miami, well, all of a sudden, the pressure would ratchet up significantly on Ryan Day, and Ohio State would start to face all these sorts of questions again. When are they going to win another national championship? I mean, that's not Miami wasn't that good of a team. I think they're much better than Miami. I've said before, I think they're going to win the game and cover the 9.5 points, which is what FanDuel has the line at as I record this show. So if that doesn't happen and Miami pulls it off again, winning a game in which they're an underdog, hey, maybe Ohio State would go. And maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm playing that up too much. But if Ohio State were to suddenly have that emotional, swift kick in the rear of, hey, you got to get going and utilize this unicorn that you have on the other side, what would you do? How do you defend Ohio State if Cam Coleman's on one side and Jeremiah Smith is on the other? I don't know. I don't know that there's a secondary to all of college football that can match up with those two guys. I think you just double cover both of them and then trust everybody else to try to make plays, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. So I saw that get suggested and went, man, that'd be pretty wild. LSU has been thrown out there as well. Lane Kiffin has been dubbed the portal king before. I'm not ruling it out. Not going to rule it out. Here's the thing, though. And this is the other thing I wanted to bring up in this particular segment. So, Cam Coleman is pretty clearly the most coveted transfer portal wide receiver. The depth of talent at that particular position group, whichever team you are a fan of, whichever coach you think is going to crush the portal, the number of quality wide receivers that are going to find a new team via the portal this year is as crazy as I've seen it before. Nick Marsh, according to 24/7, guy I've talked about before on the show, is their 5th highest rated transfer receiver. You've got Amarion Miller from Colorado. You have got DeAndre Moore Jr. from Texas. Eugene Wilson III from Florida, just to name a few. That position group is going to see some big names float around. The quarterbacks are abundant. You got Brendan Sorsby. There was a report from someone that covers Texas that I saw that Brendan Sorsby might be going to LSU. Let's keep tabs on that because Brendan Sorsby, last I heard, was going to Texas Tech. I don't know, but maybe that report was just trying to throw a jab at Texas Tech. I don't know. But Brendan Sorsby, according to 24/7, top quarterback available in the portal. Now, he would not be my number one guy in the transfer portal. He would be one of the top guys for sure, but I am a Josh Hoover stan. So Josh Hoover, I think, is criminally underrated by the transfer portal rankings right now, and he'd be my number one quarterback should he go into the portal. But I think that what you can get at wide receiver in this cycle and with what you can get at quarterback, offenses are going to be quickly elevated or just outright revolutionized, even more than they were last year. And look, what Texas A&M did in the transfer portal at wide receiver with Mario Craver and KC Concepcion, I think you can see a lot of teams have that sort of impact. Now, who's going to have the quarterback to throw to those particular guys, caliber Marcel Reed? Hey, we'll find out, depending on where these guys land. But I heard that, I read that thought about Cam Coleman and would he go to Ohio State? And I thought, I mean, it's wide receiver. I'm a Seahawks fan. My guy, Jackson Smith and Jigba, is just one of, I don't know, a revolving door of mega talents they've had at that position. Cam Coleman is going to go somewhere and absolutely explode. And look, Ohio State might not be the perfect fit. He might want to go somewhere where he's truly the number one guy, not playing second fiddle to anybody, because he's had his talent fail to be maximized over his first 2 years of college football. Now, if he wants to do that, name I haven't seen suggested, Indiana. Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt are going to the NFL after this year. Cam Coleman at Indiana, when I tell you that's a 1-to-1 fit, that is 10 out of 10, 5 stars, no notes. So just some portal thoughts, which will open officially Friday. Appreciate everyone listening. See you next time. Until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.